Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a Fortnite tier list about the weapons that are actually in the game so far. I wanted to do a tier list for a long time, and so you can see we have an assortment of guns. I believe this is all the guns that are actually in the game right now, I believe. But that can do damage, except for this one. This one I'll just, explain it in the video. But we have the Scar, the AUG, the bolt action, FAMAS, Pickaxe, Flare, Charge Shotgun, uh, blue to, or gray to blue, Harpoon. This, I believe, is the green to blue hunting rifle, the Jules drum gun, the normal or the purple and legendary uh, charge shotgun, the purple and legendary hunting rifle, the normal AR, P90s, high pistol, high tier or rarity pistol, normal pistols, RPGs, the lower side of the rapid fires, the higher side of the rapid fires, Kit's grenade launcher, um, normal SMG, suppressed SMG, low tax, high tax, uh, Kit's charge shotgun, and Ocean's burst assault rifle. So let's just get into it. The categories is from a god weapon, a great weapon, an average weapon, an okay weapon, and just no. For I don't think I'm gonna put anything in the just no because that kind of seems a little bit rude, but there could be in this tier list. But let's just get started with the first one, a Scar. So the Scar is a great weapon. It's been in the game since the very beginning. But for this season, their headshot got a little bit like lowered. So I would have put it in a god if they haven't decreased the damage from doing like a 72 to like a 50. It's still a great weapon, so that's why I'm going to put it down into great, because right now it is where it is. The AUG. So I've used the AUG a lot. It is a really great burst. It used to do a 3-round burst. Now it's a 2-round burst. I'll explain why this one is horrible with the 2-round burst. Besides this one, I feel that this AUG is like the same, but also different in like damage wise and stuff, because um, even though it's doing a 2-round burst, it's doing more damage and it has a quicker fire rate, while the other one was a 3-round burst doing a little bit less damage and a little bit less fire rate. So it's like it evens out. So it's pretty much the same weapon, just different, and it's still an amazing weapon. I don't think it's going to be as good as the Scar, but it's like right next to it. That's what I feel. It could laser people really fastly. Fastly is not a word, but you know how quickly it can laser people, get rid of all their health. The next one I'm going to put on is the bolt action. Neither bolt actions here I actually use at all because of reasons. The hunting rifle is just a much better sniper rifle. But my friend does, Bromac2578. If you want to check out his channel will be in the description. But a normal bolt, which is, I believe, only the blue bolt is in the game, not the green one or the gray one. But the blue bolt, I would say it's okay because compared to the hunting rifle, especially the gold and purple versions, and compared to this, you can hit no scope so much easier. It's so much easier to use in like a little bit closer range and also far ranges. So, and also, yes, it does 105 damage, but the reload speed is not that fast. Um, and so that's why I put it in okay. I'd use it if it's like one of the only weapons I find off spawn, but it's still viable. Um, the next bolt, the purple and gold one, I'm kind of in between great and average because if you can use it right, it's a great weapon. But if you don't really like using bolts, which is, me, because this whole thing is about my opinion, I would. It's hard. It's really hard. Um, I'm gonna put this at great, but as time goes, of course, this is gonna fill up probably. So I'm gonna put this near like the end of great. I feel, but yeah. All right, now the famous or FAMAS or famous. Um, the FAMAS was, it used to be this before Chapter 2, and now it became, the lower end. In other seasons of Chapter 2, not this season, it was a 3 round burst, which actually was pretty good, or decent, I should say. I would have put it in here in last season, but I feel like it's going into just no. Uh, if I find up like a blue burst, I would have replaced it with a gray AR. It's that bad for me, of course. Reason why is because I think the FAMAS was already bad in the chapter 2, but because of the 3 round burst and it's really hard to aim since the crosshair keeps on going bigger and bigger compared to the burst, it resets every time. Um, but I feel like with the 2 round burst and the crosshair going bigger and bigger makes this gun just worse than its original. Because uh, in Chapter 2, or the beginning of Chapter 2 Season 1 or Chapter 2 Season 2, it grows bigger at 3, but then it slowly gets a little bit smaller and then it goes big. But I feel like this one, it goes bigger and then even less tinier because it's a quicker fire rate and it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And then the damage, yes, it's a little higher than the AR, but it doesn't feel right, I should say. And also, especially if you're trying to do AR distances, like a little bit further than AR distances, which scars, AUGs, and ARs do really well. This just sucks. I feel like this gun only shines when you're a little bit closer, but even so, it's still an okay weapon, even if it's a little bit closer. But it's just no. Um, yeah. Uh, Now we have the pickaxe. I don't know why I even put the pickaxe in here, but I just did. Um, Pickaxe for damage is only 20 per hit, but you're not really going to use it for anything but breaking materials, unless if you land on top of someone at the very beginning of your game, if you're trying to loot a chest. What just happened? Uh, but for a weapon, it's just no. But for its uses, like materials, I feel like that balances out to an average. Even though it's not a gun or it does massive damage, its use for gathering materials is average because, of course, you need like that would be a god for it. But I feel like the damage makes it go up to an average. And yeah, there's nothing really much more to say. A pickaxe is a pickaxe. Um, Now we have the flare gun. The flare gun was introduced a few weeks ago, a week or two ago. I don't remember when it was introduced, but 60 damage. 60 damage is a lot for area attack. Of course, not as much as the, where is it, RPG, but this does have its uses. It can burn up people for 10 damage. It also does, of course, I already said, 60 damage. It's kind of like the flint-knock that does a little bit less damage, but that's not its main use. Its main use is for flaring into the sky, whatever it's called. It locates everybody around you. So it's better of a utility item than a damage item. So that's why it's also going to go into an average. Um, because of its utility, because you can use it as a utility item as well as the pickaxe using it for getting mats, it's better than the bolt or the FAMAS, in my opinion, of course. We're getting rid of some. Now we have the gray to blue charged shotgun. I don't really use these ones because I feel like it's the same thing as the pumps as last season. I would rather have attack over the gray to blue uh, pumps, same thing as the charge shotgun. Uh, but I would take a purple and gold pump over a purple and gold tack. Same thing with the charged shotgun, and of course, the Mythic shotgun. But I feel like this is an average weapon. It can do a lot of damage. It doesn't do much damage if you just tap fire it, but if you charge it up and then you attack it, it could do massive damage, especially to body shots, which does that work. But it also does kind of a not so great, I should say, because sometimes it doesn't fire when you even release your trigger button. But it's a decent weapon, meaning average weapon. I would say it's, of course, top over here, if it'll allow me. There we go. Okay. And yeah, it's nothing really much to say. It's pretty much a pump with the charge feature. Um, and yeah. All right, the next one is a Harpoon. Yes, it does 75 damage, is a lot, but it's really hard to aim because there's like no like bloom or area attack damage. So even though this does 60, this does 75, I'm gonna say this is a little bit better for dealing damage, but this harpoon can pull people back towards you, so you can switch to a shotgun or something, pump them, or charge shotgun them or tack them. But it's more for fishing. And of course, fishing is great, but that's really its main use. These you could use for damage and sky. This you can use for damage by landing or gathering materials, which makes it I feel like a little bit higher. This is just really for fishing. You wouldn't really use this for fighting. You wouldn't bring this along with you after you land at like maybe a port or a someplace which has fishing pods, fishing hooks or fishing rods. Um, you would just find these at if there's like a fishing hole, then you would just use it to gather some fish and stuff, and then you probably drop it after that. You would hold on to a flare gun, and you of course have a pickaxe on all times. So this is why I would say these are higher than the Harpoon. I think I've only gotten like maybe a few kills with the Harpoon ever since its release in Season 1 of Chapter 2. But yeah, I would say it is an okay weapon. All right, the next one we're going to be checking out is the green to blue hunting rifle. The hunting rifle, of course, is great for trick shotters, as well as just a easy to use sniper rifle without a scope. I really like the hunting rifle, but it's in its purple and gold form. So I feel like this would go into average. It's an average gun, but what it would set up for the higher hunting rifles really makes this a really good gun, as well as it still does pretty good damage, 80 something damage. Pretty good gun. All right, now we're going to the Jules Mythic drum gun. For a drum gun and for a Mythic, I really hate to put this at a okay gun. Um, the reason why I put it in this okay category is because it's kind of just worse than the P90, the normal SMG, and also the rapid fire. It's not as bad as the this gun right here. I'm gonna put this in the front. It's not as bad as the suppressed submachine gun, but it is just an okay weapon. I'd say I really think that the only reason why you would you would land at the middle of the map for a mythic item is for the grappler. Yes, you can use the drum gun. It does pretty good damage, but I feel like the grappler is really the main reason why you would go to the authority. But because the drum gun is pretty much worse than the P90s, and P90s you can find all over the place. And yeah, it for a mythic weapon, it really doesn't do as it should. Compared to the Midas drum gun. Midas drum gun was probably the best SMG spray weapon of Chapter 2, Season 2, right next to the Brutus minigun. I'll say that for another day, probably very long into the future, for like maybe a review of all the weapons. But yeah, it's pretty much just as it is was when it was the drum gun from season 9 when it was about to be vaulted. It has the same fire rate, and it just does one more damage than those drum guns in season 9. Uh, so it's pretty much just the same thing, just doing one more damage. It it's just an okay weapon. You'd find it up, and you could probably get a few kills with it, but it will be hard. And yeah. All right, next we are going to the higher rank of the charged shotgun, which is the purple and legendary charge shotgun. What actually, I would actually put it right in between great and average if I had, maybe a section between. I'm gonna just put it in great because it does massive, massive damage, as well as it holds 4 bullets compared to the normal charge shotgun, which is 3, and a quicker fire rate, reload speed. So it's just a great weapon I would use over a tack and stuff like that. I would still use a tack because it has a quicker fire rate as well as a bigger reticle or crosshair. But sometimes I'd pick this up and it would just destroy people. I really love this gun. It's not as good as the Kids Charge shotgun, but it's still a pretty good gun. All right, now we're going into this hunting rifle. This hunting rifle definitely deserves the great category. I'm actually going to put this above the bolts and put this shotgun above the bolts as well. This hunting rifle, especially the legendary variant, 2 shots and you already got killed somebody with someone with full health if you just hit them for body shots, and 1 headshot, of course, for all snipers, does instant kill. Um, so it has a smaller crosshair so that you can hit trick shots more and more efficiently than the original. The original. Uh, the gun that I'm holding the original hunting rifle, I should say. Um, yeah, it is just a better version of it. There's just no complaint on that weapon. Now we're on to the AR, the gray to blue variant of the AR. This AR is, of course, a trusty weapon. I would put it in average, pretty much, I think, below this, because it's, an AR. It's the middle weapon that you would pick up over any, like the FAMAS or something like that. It's a great weapon to have. It's not as good as the Scar or the AUG, but it does good damage, and it's just a trusty weapon you should always have in your inventory, unless if you're rocking things that get you into close range, like the grappler or the Kids Charge Shotgun and Kids Grenade Launcher. But I would say that you should always pick this up until you get a better AR, something like that. There's nothing much to say. Yes, headshot has been decreased, so it's kind of like in between, but higher onto the average side, so that's why I'm going to put it here. This is more on the lower side of okay, but it's, still a shotgun you should use. The next one we're going on is the P90. The P90 has got a nerf in this season. The purple version did 20 damage at the very beginning until it got nerfed. Now it's doing 19. Still the same fire rate, but also less bullets. So I feel like this P90 was definitely a great weapon, and it still is. But it's, because of the nerf, it's kind of like that much deeper into the average. But it's still doing what it should do. It's still a great weapon. I'd sometimes choose it over the gold and purple rapid fire. The only reason why I would pick that up because it has more bullets, but it's still a great weapon you should use all the time. All right, now we are going into the pistols. The purple and legendary pistol. This pistol would go into average, I should say, but higher than the AR. Because you can actually replace an AR with this pistol. I feel like the only downside to the pistol is its capacity, as well as you have to tap fire it instead of hold down the trigger. But it could replace this pretty well. It has like the same range, just a little bit less damage, and it has a higher headshot damage, so it's pretty cool. And it's just a really good gun, meaning an average good gun. I would say it's kind of like that for a little bit above average, but yeah, I would put it there. I should have put more sections so I could, put them in between, like maybe this in between and, this in between. But this is what I created. Um, Now we are into the normal pistol. Yeah, I'm putting it just no because this is how you can see this one is so much better because it just skipped a step instead of just increasing in one. But the reason why I put it in is because yes, it does okay damage, um, but it's this, the it's the same thing as the FAMAS, and this is the same thing as the AUG. This resets every time. This doesn't reset every time. Um, and same thing with these two. And it just makes this one so much more accurate and does a lot more damage, and this one just so much less accurate. And also, it's really even hard to get a kill with this, even if that's the only gun you find and someone else doesn't even have a gun. They could even outdo you with a pickaxe sometimes. It's that bad. I don't like pistols at all. I don't even use these pistols because of reasons, my opinion. But it's still pretty good, but this pistol, just a no-no for me. Now we are going on to the RPG. RPG straight up into a god weapon. Uh, Now that I think of it, I'm actually going to put the Scar and the AUG in a god weapon because they're like the best ARs in the game. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But RPG at the top of the list, especially with this introduction of this new chapter, the RPG has definitely gotten or more rare to find. And it's just a trusty weapon. You could just shoot it and then you deal 130 or 120 something damage instantly. It is super broken, super good to use, and also its destruction to uh, buildings and mats and stuff like that is incredibly high, and it's just a great weapon just to have. I believe the only way you can find it is probably if you're. I think it's very rare in supply drops, and then Marauders have a chance on dropping them. I think that's the only times you can actually find them. But yeah, that's where I'm going to put that gun. All right, so I know these two are the exact same, these rapid fire SMGs, but I'm just going to put this one as the purple and legendary. I should have gotten like a purple or legendary skin over it or something like that. But let's just treat this as the purple and legendary. This is the gray to blue. All right, so the gray to blue rapid fire, I'd say it's an okay weapon. Reason why I'm going to put it in the okay category is it it does what it says. I'm going to actually move the AUG back to great because I feel like the Scar is better than the AUG, but the AUG is still a great weapon. But let's just get back to the rapid fire. The rapid fire, it has 20 bullets. Like you burn through that super quickly, and it doesn't do much damage. So it's like, and you're pretty much done with all the bullets. And it's not that good of a gun. But yeah, that's where I'm going to put it. Nothing much to say. You can still get a kill with it, but it's pretty hard to get a kill with it. So yeah, that's where I'm going to put it. All right, now we are going on to the purple and legendary version. This is going on to great. I'm going to put it right behind the P90 because it has less bullets. But if it had more bullets or the same amount of bullets as the P90, this is pretty much better than the TAC SMG from previous seasons. Of course, it's not on this list because it's vaulted. Um, but yeah, reason being, it has six more bullets, and even though it says I say and it's over, that six bullets makes a high difference, and of course, reload speed is super quick, quickest reload in the game. Also, this has a fire rate of 15, so it means you could put off to outbuild or to outshoot somebody that's turbo building. You have to have a gun that shoots with a fire rate of 7, and then you can have put one bullet into their builds and damage them. But for this, it has a what is it called? A fire rate of 15, so it means you could put off two bullets into their builds, doing like 17 damage each, and just does massive damage. And also, it just lasers people really quickly. Um, Kit charge shotgun. Kit's grenade launcher. I don't know why I even put this on the list, but yeah, it's a weapon you can use as it's really just it doesn't do any damage, but what you could do is launch people into zone if it's a smaller circle, and then make them do 10 tick for each zone. Um, for damage wise, it's just no, right? But because of how useful it is for a grenade launcher that shoots out shockwave grenades, it's a god weapon. But I'm gonna keep it at the end of god weapons because it doesn't do any damage. So yeah. Next we have the normal SMG. This is an average weapon. It is definitely an average weapon, less than the P90, of course. It's the lower lower weapons of the SMG or P90s because you can upgrade a blue one to the P90. This gun is definitely better than these weapons um, because it has more bullets. It does it does a decent fire rate. It's the same thing as this, but it does more damage than this and has more bullets, which is why it's higher than this. If it had like the same amount of bullets, I would have put it down into the okay, but it does have more bullets, so I'm gonna put it up here. You can definitely shred people, kill people faster than attack sometimes, but yeah, that's where I'm gonna put it. The next one is a suppressed SMG. I don't know what they did with the suppressed SMGs in Chapter 2, but they made them so bad. I don't know what happened to them, but these SMGs are trash now. They used to be lasers. They did, of course, more damage in the Chapter 1, but like this is an okay weapon. It is definitely worse than the drum gun, but it's still pretty bad. I'm gonna put this in front of the harpoon, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It's like feels like a slower fire rate, something slower. I feel like also the other reason why is because they introduced the suppressed SMG back into the game in uh, Chapter 2, Season 2. And I feel like the reason why no one really used these back then is because, of course, there's this SMG, which is better, this SMG, which is okay, I guess. But there was also miniguns, and miniguns just like overshadowed these weapons. So it makes this gun trash in Chapter 2, Season 2, but even in this season, it's not that good. I feel like the only reason you would actually use this is if you kill a henchman and then you just kill. I believe you find these only in the Fortilla, but I feel like the only reason why you would pick this up is if you kill a henchman and that's the only weapon you have, so you can either kill players or other henchmen. But that's really, I feel like that's the only reason why you would pick this gun up. All right, we're narrowing to the last four guns. We have the TAC, the gray to blue TAC. I'm actually going to put this lower than the, actually a little bit higher than the this gun. TACs have got a serious nerf to the headshot. This TAC down here does 124 damage to headshot this season, while in last season and previous seasons it did like 180 something, 190 something. So it got a massive nerf as well as these ones as well. But I feel like it's still a more trusty weapon than these charged shotguns because it has a quicker fire rate. It does a little bit less damage, but if you get a little bit more onto the head, you get a little bit more damage, doing the same normal. It's just a better, I guess, weapon than the charged shotgun, but it's not as good as this charged shotgun. All right, now we're going on to the purple and legendary attack. I'm going to put this right below this charge shotgun because this charge shotgun, especially with the more shots as well as the quicker fire rate, not fire rate, but quicker reload, it makes this gun much better than the tac, especially when this tac, a legendary tac shotgun, doing 124 to the head, just like fails in comparison to like a 200 for this, and it's just sad to see that this gun is worse. I would have picked this up over this if this wasn't doing 124 damage to the head. It's just kind of sad to see that. But yeah, that's where I'm going to put it. Okay, now we're going to go on to Kit's Charge Shotgun. I'm going to put this in front of the greats. It's a shotgun, of course. You can't really go wrong with a shotgun. But I feel like it's not super different compared to the there's a fly in my face. I'm trying to swat it out, but it's not too different than the legendary shotgun. Yes, it has 5 shots and a quicker reload. Um, I just feel like it's not too good. It does definitely a lot more damage, but you know, it's like on top of the greats, higher than these shotguns. So that's why I'm going to put it. It's pretty much the same thing, doing much more damage and has more ammo. All right, last but not least, we have the Ocean's Burst Assault Rifle. I'm going to put this into a god weapon. In front of the grenade launcher, of course, but not as good as the Scar. I would still pick up a Scar over the burst sometimes, or this burst, I should say. Definitely better than this. The legendary one is doing 35 damage, while this one's doing 39 damage. Has 30 shots, while this one has 20 shots, and I believe also a quicker fire rate. And it just lasers people even more than these Augs. But I feel like the Scar is still a better weapon than this. Is why I put it a little lower. And yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but doing more damage and has more ammo. Which I feel is better than this because you can still use this in close range and still do massive damage, but you can also use this in medium range and do massive damage as well. Is why I put it in front of Kit's Charged Shotgun. And yeah, that's my tier list, guys. If there's anything that you would have done differently, like maybe put the pickaxe in just no because it's not a weapon, or the grenade launcher just no, or this in the just no. But if you want to do, if there's any weapons in here that I have missed, please put it into the comments. This is all the weapons that are in Chapter 2, Season 3 that I know of. Uh, but yeah, this is what I feel is what it should be. Um, for my opinion, of course. This is, if you have your own opinion, you could do your own opinion. But if there's anything that I should be aware of, like maybe something that I haven't known, like maybe this is OP and I should put it in the OP, or this I could use something, I can do this with a different technique, make it better, something like that. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, there we go. There's my tier list. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, please slap a like on the comments, in the comments, and on the like button. What am I saying today? But, and subscribe to the channel. YouTube, I believe, has been telling me that 78.5% of you guys have not been subscribed to my channel. That is actually kind of crazy. It definitely has gone down since my last video, but like seriously guys, 78% or 79% of you guys that have watched my videos don't even subscribe to my channel. It's actually kind of crazy. I know I'm a small YouTuber, so just please hit the like button so we can actually get that number lower and lower and lower, so until it could probably get lower to 0 or just 50%. I'm fine with 50%. 50% of you guys that have not subscribed to my channel would be fine, but it's 80% of you guys. It's kind of crazy, but if you just see you guys next time. Peace.